Welcome back to an all-new episode of Daphne's Detention. Hello, welcome to this episode of Daphne's Detention. Today we will be deep diving into the case file of the missing child, Summer Moon Utah Wells from Tennessee. We will be discussing several topics on her disappearance, including the new search of Fred Hill's property. So stay tuned. I also want to add in that we have some new stuff over at our members tab. So you might want to go check that out and feel free to join our community by leaving your impression on that like button as we discuss several types of missing children's and endangered persons cases. All right, let's get started. So Summer Moon Utah Wells. I want to add this here. This is a video and it's something I made. Right here, it's showing her and her mom, her and her father. So her mother's name is Candace Wells. Her father's name is Don Wells. If you've been following this case, I'm sure that you are updated with the parents. So on June 15th, 2021, in the Beach Creek community of Rogersville, Hawkins County, called East Tennessee, 5-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells went missing from her family's home on the 100th block of Ben Hill Road. She was born on February 4th, 2016 in Rogersville, Tennessee.
The community gathered to observe the birthday of missing Hawkins County child Summer Wells. Weekly prayer vigils held every Tuesday draw a large online following, supporters who want Summer to come home safe. Summer's birthday is in 3 days, February 4th. She's been missing since June 15th. If you know any credible information that could lead to her, call 1-800-TBI-FIND or email tips to tbi@tbi.gov.
So her birthday is coming up shortly, in just a week. February 4th is just right around the corner. Summer was described as 3 foot tall, weighing 40 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She had a recent haircut at the time. It was basically shaved to match her brother's. Her mother said that they shaved it because she wanted to look like her brothers. Then we heard some speculation that maybe she had some lice. The Wells family home basically consisted of Summer's parents, Don and Candace Bly, also known as Candace Wells, and her 3 brothers. That day, the family had returned home from swimming at a nearby creek with Summer's grandmother, according to statements, and also a 15-year-old boy called Hunter. His name is Hunter. Excuse me. So Summer played in the basement with her brothers around 5:30 p.m. She shortly went upstairs briefly with her mother before returning downstairs. And when checked on right after by her mom, said shortly after, estimate about 2 minutes later, she could not be located. The family searched the house and property before contacting authorities at approximately 6:30 p.m. Right? Here's some pictures of Summer. And mom stated that she just seen her, right? She just seen her. And all of a sudden she disappeared. This is the area around Summer Wells' home, just aerial view, right? You could see that it's surrounded by thick forest. And Summer, we were told that Summer never really ventured off too far away from home. She would always be with her brothers. And the parents continuously state that someone has taken her, right? And we're going to dig into that. This is the vehicle that has said that is suspicious, right? It's a red truck, like older truck, back in like the 90s, like early 2000s. And this, I don't know. Look at that. That is the pictures of the truck that when they put out the Amber Alert, they said was very suspicious. What do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts below. Now, this is the area, right? So you have Summer's area right here. And they're stating that, well, they said that they went and searched around 10 miles away on Van Hill Road. It's just short of like 10 miles, like 9 miles and something. And they just recently searched this area around November 2025. Now, the police or the investigators haven't said anything if they found anything of suspicion or if they didn't find anything. I want to know what your thoughts are if they found something or not. Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you think. Because if they didn't find anything, don't you think that they would come out and say, no, we unfortunately didn't find anything here on this new search? I think they got a heavy tip and something sparked their attention. So here you could see this is the area surrounding where they did go and search. They're saying there was like a pig farm there. I don't know. I've never been there, but word is there's a farm there. And supposedly this red truck belonged to the person that lives there, allegedly, right? So Summer has a birthday coming up, and she would be almost 11. She's almost 11 years old, right? She's been missing for that long. This long she's been missing since 2021. When she went missing, she was last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts, and she might have been possibly barefooted, right? Still cannot be located. She left out of this basement door, and it was said, speculation, that there was a couch in front of this basement door. What do you guys think about that? I don't think a 5-year-old child can move a couch out of the way of the basement door. And we'll be digging more into that in just a moment. I want to add a video here of the surrounding area of Summer Wells property. Give me just a second. There's no sound to it, but it shows you what the area looks like. So concerning the search effort began immediately and grew into one of the largest searches in Tennessee history, right? It involved multiple agencies, including TBI, the FBI, and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, and support from neighboring counties. Over 1,000 volunteers participated in the initial phase. Ground searches covered approximately 4.6 square miles in the first few days, expanding to thousands of acres over time. The terrain included dense forests, as you can see here, steep hills, ravines, and creeks, which presented challenges. Teams used canine units for tracking and human remains detection dogs. So they were using cadaver dogs as well. Helicopters with thermal imaging, drones for aerial mapping, and divers to check local waterways, such as the Horse Creek, which they had visited that day, right? With Hunter and Grandis, which is Candace's mother, which is Summer's grandmother. Whew, there was a lot going on that day, you guys. So anyways, excavations occurred based on dog alerts and tips, but no evidence was found for missing Summer Wells. Quintip teams assisted in the assessing remote areas. The operation also included door-to-door canvassing and interviews with residents. As of late 2025, more than 6,500 tips have been received and investigated through dedicated hotlines all over, tips all over. The TBI has followed leads across Tennessee and beyond, including reported sightings in other states. No confirmed evidence of Summer's whereabouts has been discovered. Unfortunately, they haven't found anything as of yet, but maybe this new search a few months ago maybe they found something there. And that's why they've been so quiet ever since they've searched. But the investigation remains active. It is not a cold case. But with no arrest or charges filed, the Wells family has cooperated with authorities, including undergoing polygraph tests and allowing multiple searches of their home. Reports have noted that family dynamics, including past legal issues for Dawn Wells and temporary removal of their sons, right? All their children have been removed by CPS, and through no direct connection to the disappearance, though. So, public statements from the family include Dawn Wells expressing belief in an abduction, stating interviews that someone likely took Summer from the property. Now, I want to stop here for a second. There was lots of talk about, Dawn's rug habit, and there has been family members such as his stepsisters and stuff had come out and talked about SA with Dawn when they were younger, when they were teenagers. I have showed some of those videos on before in the past couple of months. I will set a playlist at the end of this video for you guys to watch those if you want to catch up. Now, there have been a lot of allegations that have went on this case. I have to be very careful the way I say this with Dawn and Summer, and then just other stuff involving it, right? He was arrested, and that was on other charges. And he does have a history of using methamphetamines. There's no doubt about that. And like I always say, a lot of these cases, they have similarities with these parents. They're on this type of drug, such as methamphetamines. There's CPS had visited the home the day prior, before Summer Wells' disappearance. And we know in a lot of these cases, it's like clockwork, right? They're all laid out. The dominoes are all laid out, and then the child goes missing. I'm not saying all these cases are the same, but they all have the same playing cards. And there's no coincidence about that, right? There's just no coincidence about that. There is also inconsistency about them delaying a 911 call. I find that in a lot of these cases as well. And it's not just speculation, it actually is. A lot of these cases with missing children, there is delay in 911 call. The child is usually around the age of 5. I don't know why. That's usually how it is. CPS is involved. There's always rugs involved. That's just usually how it is. It's very sad. But to go on, public statements from Dawn, he expressed his belief in abduction, and that's another one as well. A lot of these parents, a lot of them say that their child has been abducted or their child walked off, right? The last time I saw my child it was in bed, or just a few minutes ago, and they just walked off, or someone abducted them. In this case here, there is an Amber Alert, unlike another case that we follow, like the Jack and Lily case, where there was no evidence of any kind of abduction. So that's a little bit different there, but same thing. You have methamphetamine use, you have CPS involvement. Now we're learning of alleged abuse that went on between mom, right, and children and stepdad. But Candace Wells has also spoken out. She denied any involvement and emphasizing on the family's grief, right? She says, I don't have any involvement in my daughter Summer's disappearance. And she says, we're just stricken with grief. This case, guys, has generated significant public interest all around the world, with community vigils, awareness campaigns, and online groups like Facebook and YouTube dedicating to finding summer. The TBI has released age progression images of summer that we just showed previously, and to depict what summer might look like today, as she would now be like approaching 10 years old, right? So a key element in the investigation is a vehicle of interest. And we just spoke about this prior, which would be the red Toyota Tacoma between 1990s to early 2000s. Red or maroon. It looks more red to me. A pickup truck, possibly equipped with a full bed ladder rack, which I'm sure that's probably not on there anymore. White buckets in the bed, like the 5-gallon buckets, but white, and dark tinted windows. It was reported seen in the Beach Creek area around the time of the disappearance. Authorities. So I know some neighbors had come out, and people in the area, store owners inside, that they did see this red truck all the time prior to Summer's disappearance. And then after she disappeared, they didn't see it no more. So authorities have appealed multiple times for information about this vehicle or its occupants, noting they could be, witnesses. Recent developments included follow-up search in late 2025 based on new tips. Though no breakthroughs have been announced, the TBI continues to classify the case as a missing persons investigation. So it opens up possibilities such as accidental wandering or abduction without ruling out any scenario due to lack of evidence. Now, as you can see in this video, look at the area. Look at the area. Do we think little Summer's just going to wander off? I mean, look at her huge yard, right? Look at this yard she had to play in. So cute, right? There was also talk about there was a mama dog on the property that just had puppies. Now, there were other dogs as well. I think they said 13 dogs, right? And right there, if someone walks up on your property, that's your alarm, right? Is the dogs. So it's just hard to picture that someone grabs Summer, but I don't know. It's really sad. It really is. So going on with the community support, there's a lot of community support with events. They've had candlelight vigils and ribbon campaigns in the Beach Creek and in Rogersville. Resources for tips included anonymous submissions, and the disappearance of Summer Wells remains unsolved as of early 2026, as of today, January 28th, 2026. With the investigation still active and ongoing, while no definitive evidence has emerged as of yet, we might have something with this new search. Several possibilities have been discussed in public statements, media reports, and online discussions. Now, these include the possibility that Summer wandered into the woods, into the dense and rugged terrain, and became lost or succumbed to the environmental hazards, such as exposure, a fall, or an unmarked well, mine shafts. They are very common in that area. Another theory centers on abduction, potentially involving that red Toyota Tacoma as a means of removal from the property, which could explain the sudden end to the scent trails noted during early searches. Family members, particularly her father, have, maintained that an abduction occurred possibly by someone who entered the area unnoticed. But there is other speculations raised in various sources and involved accidental involvement such as a vehicle incident followed by concealment. So I know there has been a lot of talk. There has been a lot of talk about this photo. Oops, excuse me one second. A lot of talk about this photo that was going around with Summer in a car. And that would have been the day that they went to the store with Hunter. And I want to take you here real quick. One second. So there was this photo. This is the Summer Wells website. And we're going to click on photo here. These are pictures of Summer. I'll let it load for a sec. Oh, maybe I already had it on there. Where Summer was leaning against some milk jugs in the car, and they were at a grocery store, right? They went to the grocery store. First, they went, and grandmother Grandis had a doctor's appointment for her knee. Her knee was bad, right? She had to go to the hospital, and this was during the time of the pandemic. It seemed to get in and out in no time, right? I think it was a couple hours. And then they swimming, right, and then got like a twisty, I believe it was called, like some alcohol for a 15-year-old child. And this was what was told from Allie, I believe. She is no longer with us. That is Hunter's mother. She said that, you know, when they pulled up Hunter, or excuse me, Summer was leaning against those milk jugs, and the windows were rolled up. And we were told, because we saw Summer had like these long sleeve, long jugs. But we heard the car had no AC either. No AC. So it's probably like over 100 degrees in that car. Now, I know a lot of speculation went on with that photo. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't look alive in the photo." I don't know. And I don't even want to think about it, because it's very sad to think about. I know that there's just a lot of speculation on it. So I want to take you over to some of these photos here in just a sec. Give me a moment. We have one of these here. Now this video is kind of like, this is a short here. I'm going to blow it up for you. Just give me 1 second to add it. Okay. Here we go. Let me remove this. That was the website that Summer Wells' parents had put up for her. I'm going to add this here for you. And they also had started a YouTube channel for Summer's disappearance as well. All right. So this channel. Oh. So I just want to go on and say something. In addition to some online discussions and reports have speculated that the TBI might have found something of interest during the follow-up activity related to property association with Fred Hill. A neighbor mentioned in connection to the case, we just showed the area in the beginning of the video where Fred Hill lives with the farm. So including like an early scent dog hits reported near his property and his truck. Though he has been ruled out as a person of interest by some sources, right? I emphasize that. This speculation stems from recent leads pursued in late 2025. So, like I said, the new search in November 2025, including activity on a nearby property, which Van Hill Road, right? Where he lives. And it's linked through family connections and rumors. The investigators reportedly conducted searches and they were digging a lot, right? Some unverified claims and videos in social media suggest that something significant was discovered during these efforts, potentially shifting focus back towards the local connections or the hidden evidence on adjacent lands. However, official TBI statements have described these as routine follow-ups on investigative leads with no public confirmation of any findings or breakthroughs, right? So, what do you guys think about that? What I want you to comment below. Do you think that they found something over by Fred Hill's property? I honestly do. I believe they have found something, and that is why they have been very quiet. They remain so. These remain unproven theories and rumors circulating in public forums and myself, right? And the lack of physical evidence or official announcements keep all scenarios open. This case continues to raise important questions that investigators and public seek to find answers to what happened to Summer Wells. So just some questions, right? These are like main questions that people ask. What exactly happened in those critical minutes after Summer went downstairs? Right? We all witnessed the inside of their home, how they had to duck under like this bar thing. And we know that Don Wells is a contractor. Like he knows his work, right? We've heard that he does great work. He actually built on a room for the boys to share. So why would he build that like area where you have to duck under? I just can't never get over that. But duck under to go down in the basement, and like in Summer's room looked, it was horrible, you guys. It looked like a dungeon. just my thoughts on it. And Dr. Phil actually did a interview with Candace and Dawn as well. And do you know that they sent people in to paint Summer's room and clean it up? We've seen photos of her room with trash all over the floors, food. I mean, you name it, it was all over the floors. It was just a mess in there, in my opinion. And we know that when the parents went on Dr. Phil, he actually sent somebody in to fix up her room to make it look more presentable for TV audiences. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You should show the raw footage, right? Why are you going to sit there and try to, like, I don't know, it's like bamboozling people, like thinking, oh, these, and I'm not talking bad about the parents, but trying to put a veil over what is really there, in my opinion. So I don't agree with doing stuff like that. What I'm getting at is, so Summer went down in this room. It looked cold. The windows were covered up with like this tinfoil stuff, like to make it like a dungeon, you guys. It looked like a dungeon. What little girl would want to sleep in a dungeon? I wouldn't. I would be scared to go down there when I was her age, just to be honest with you. And we were told the only exit out of there was this door. And we were told there was a couch in front of this door. So how, I don't know. My speculation is, how did Summer get out of this door from the basement? I don't understand it. So another question is too, did the red Toyota Tacoma play any role, right? Do you think that it played any role in Summer's disappearance, and who was actually driving this truck? I want you to comment below. I want you to comment below on that. Also, could Summer Wells have wandered far enough into that dense forest to evade like extensive ground and aerial searches to where she could not be located? Also, are there any additional witnesses or details from the property or nearby roads, including properties connected to like the neighbors such as Fred Hill, that have not yet come forward? We have shown a bunch of, like I said, I'm going to put the playlist. It'll be up in one of these corners at the end of the video where you can watch neighbors talk to other reporters and stuff that had come out there. And it seems like everybody talks, right? But do they know more? And are they afraid to actually say what really happened or what goes on out there? There's been some sketchy little buildings, right? In one of our videos that we showed a few weeks ago, there was a little building that was said to be a church. And it was very small, but hey. And then as you walked further into the woods, they had like this ceremonial like table with like benches around it. And I told, I was telling everybody, I was like, it looks like Bohemian Grove out in California. That's what it reminded me of, because it was just creepy like that, right? And then there was some other stuff too that was out there. But could Summer, she had just like hid somewhere where she couldn't have been found? Do these neighbors know more? Well, I want to hear your thoughts below. Also, if something was indeed like found during this recent search, right? How they were digging and searching this past November on Fred Hill's property. What did they find? And how could it change the direction of this investigation? Now, that was November. It's almost February now, right? It's almost February. Actually, Summer's birthday is coming up in 6 days. 6 days, less than a week. And it's sad that she's not around. So could this something, if they found something at the news search, could it change the direction of this investigation? Now, if Summer was taken, where could she be now? And why has there been no trace surfaced in this long, right? I just, it baffles me. I don't know. Until new evidence emerges or someone provides information that resolves these uncertainties, the questions still linger. And the search it's not cold, right? It's not a cold case. The search still continues for Summer Wells. But I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts below. If someone did take Summer, where could she be? Where would Summer be now? Who would she be with? Is there someone in particular that she liked? Also, another question, Hunter. Do you think Hunter knows more? Do you think he confided in his mother, Allison, before her passing? I have so many questions about Summer Wells' case, and I know you do too. And I'm going to end it at there. So I want to hear your thoughts below in the comment section. And again, I appreciate you for watching this episode of Summer Wells missing now since 2021. Thank you for watching this episode of Daphne's Detention, and have a wonderful day. And our playlist will be up in the corner.